Okay. Om Gurur Brahma Gurur Vishnu Gurur Devo Maheshwara Guru Sakshat Param Brahma Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Where did I keep my book? Just a minute. I'll take another book. No, it's not here. Just a minute. I'm searching for the book. I got it. Twenty-fifth one. Labhante Brahma Nirvanam Rishaya Kshina Kalmasha. Nirvanam means nirvruti. Nirvana literally means Buddhists use these words. This word nirvana. Nirvana, the word nirvana literally means getting extinguished, like a lamp. Lamp gets put out, means it gets extinguished, goes off. The lamp goes off. So here nirvana means dissolving yourself into a higher principle. You discover yourself as something more than what you are. You are not a limited individual, but you discover as something large and vast. Okay, so Brahma Nirvanam. So you merge into Brahman. Okay, so by Labhante Brahma Nirvanam Rishayaha Kshina Kalmasha. Rishayaha, a Rishi alone can attain Brahma Nirvanam. Brahma Nirvanam is moksham. In short, Shankaracharya says, Nirvanam was explained in the previous shloka. Brahma Nirvanam, Nirvruti, means merging into Brahman. That is freedom, that is moksha. Brahma Nirvanam, merging. See, in Buddhism, Nirvana means simply the flame goes off. The flame gets put out. But in Vedic culture, Vedic spirituality, Nirvana means you merge into a larger one. When even if you take literally also the lamp, Veda believes that the heat or fire is there all pervasive in every object. When you light a lamp, what is all pervading manifests in a small, a wick or a stick, or somewhere it manifests. Once, if you give one coal or a piece of coal or a piece of wood, it burns. After burning, what happens to the fire? Do you mean the fire disappears is okay? Disappearance is visible to all. But does it die? That is the question. Buddha uses the word, Buddha and Buddhism use the word nirvana, means getting put out, disappearing, merging. Disappearing alone, they don't call merging, disappearing. So in Vedic culture, it just doesn't disappear, means it doesn't cease to exist. He merges into a larger entity. He discovers himself to be a large, the all-pervasive Paramatman, all-pervasive truth. Therefore, we say, Brahman is your essential nature. The one which we know ourselves is an individual Atma. This individual Atma has got all limitations, all disadvantages. Okay, individual Atma is bound by certain things, has got lot of disadvantages, lot of limitations. So this individuality, as long as you remain individual, you cannot overcome these disadvantages and limitations. Some of the limitations you may slightly adjust, slightly improve. You may improve a little bit, But whatever the improvement, in spite of whatever improvements you make, in spite of all those improvements, your ultimate sense of individuality doesn't go away. Therefore, the real solution lies in transcending the very individuality, leaving out the very individuality. How do you leave out? How do you leave out? Now, here there are different ways. Some religions say you go to heaven and enjoy the company of God, or either in Christianity, that is a prevalent Christianity. There may be little mystic Christianity, they may have a deeper meanings, but a general, the prevalent Christianity is you go to heaven and enjoy a dinner and also enjoy the heaven. First thing is they talk of more of immortality, living, that's all, living happy. So Islam says that there you have a gardens and enjoy fruits and then the woman and all that. They describe heaven something similar to this world, without any diseases, without any pain, that's all. You will have a pleasure, you will have all, in short, their description of pleasure looks like this. You have all pleasure, all health, all good things, minus the bad things in this life. In this worldly life, you have ill health, disease, pain, suffering, humiliation, and all that. Old age, weakness. There you go, you have no weakness, you have no old age, you live completely comfortably and happy. But you have got all the pleasures of this world, all the comforts, all the pleasures of this world, continuously you have unbroken pleasures and joys of this world, minus the sufferings. Because this kind of a heaven is useful. We don't say anything wrong. It is useful for a very, very common man. To beginner, to superficial person, this is good, that you give them all positive pleasures and joys without the negative sufferings in this world, in this bhuloka. So that is one. So this Vedic heaven is little slightly different, but in a way it is same. Only thing is, it says that instead of physical pleasures, it talks of more of mental pleasures. That's what the difference. Our heaven, Swarga, doesn't, because there is no physical body in the Swarga, in Hindu religion, in Vedic religion. There is no physical body in the heaven. Therefore, you don't have the physical diseases, physical death and birth, physical diseases, physical pain, suffering and all. Because all that is because you are free from the physical body. You have another kind of body, but that's a more of a mental body. Body means a form assumed by the mind. Therefore, it becomes free from it. And the heavenly pleasures, they are pleasures, but not of a worldly type. Worldly type are too gross pleasures of drinking and eating. Heavenly pleasures are not at the level of physical world. That is, eating and drinking is not the pleasure there. They talk of more refined, cultured pleasures of mind. They talk of more of a mind pleasures of mind only. Therefore, this is the slight difference between our Vedic heaven and their heaven. There also in Christianity, there might be something more, but we are taking in general, that is a prevalent heaven. So they may have some kind of a mystics also there in Christianity and Islam. So theirs, naturally, their level will be higher. That's different. Okay. So some people say, how do you discover the freedom, moksha? One is just going to heaven. You become free from the original sin. Original sin means disobeying God. That's all. Obeying Satan, disobeying God is called sin. So you'll become free from sin. That means you start obeying God and you disobey Satan. That's all. Because it is the sin that makes you disobey God and obey Satan. So you will become free from the original sin. I don't know what I understand I'm talking. There may be many more different meanings. Because anyway, I'm not expert in that Christianity and Islam. Whatever we come to know, we learn here in our books. I just say a little bit. There may be a different interpretation. Purpose is, I am not here propagating anything either for or against Christianity and Islam. If this is an idea, we are only comparing the idea of moksha, that's all. A certain idea we take it. They may have a different idea, then it's okay. But a certain idea which is prevalent looks too small, too low level, too superficial. That's what we mean. Now we have got certain, Swarga is one in our Shastras. So one thing we can say, they have got only one world, one loka. But in Hinduism, we have got a rebirth. Again, you have a human birth. Again, you have an animal's birth. You have a Swarga. You have a Brahmaloka. And you have a Vedanta, Jnana. So we have got various levels of moksha. What we call moksha means a kind of a freedom. The freedom is of different levels. Hinduism talks of different levels of freedom. Freedom from body, freedom from prana, because our personality itself means many levels. We have got a body, we have got a prana, we have got mind, we have got intellect, we have got sense of individuality. So you get a freedom at different levels. So when you give up this Manusha Loka, this human world, and go to the other world like heaven, you will be free from the physical body and physical sufferings. But you may have a mental sufferings because you are living at the level of mind. But there also they say mental suffering also not much because you have good mind there, no physical body. So depending upon that loka, you will have the body suitable to it, and also the degree of pleasure, the joy, the quality of joy also is of higher level. Okay. So here, then when we go to the Brahmaloka or Vaikuntha or Kailasa, so the Upasakas, the mystics, the meditators who are the devotees or yogis, they go to the higher loka like Brahmaloka. So from the Manusha Loka to Brahmaloka, there are several lokas in between of different degrees of happiness, different degrees of joy. So there are many lokas. But the highest is Brahmaloka. When you go to Brahmaloka, those who believe and also advocate Brahmalokas, there are certain traditions. Hinduism is like everything, it's like a dictionary. We have got everything here. Everything. All kinds of lokas, all kinds of experiences, various concepts of God, various concepts of sadhanas, yogic, bhakti, jnana. We have got many things, everything here. We have many traditions. So whichever appeals to you, you can follow. We don't say anything wrong about it. You follow, you will understand after some time. You feel that it is small, then you can go to a higher one. So as long as you are interested in one thing, follow. Because following something is good. At least you are doing something, trying to learn something deeper life in you. Learn something and follow something. Anything you follow, as long as you good, as long as do something, at least you will be learning something deeper one. You won't be animalistic human being. This much is certain. Any religion, any upasana, any sadhana will make you a little more cultured, little more refined, more purified, more selfless person. This is the common principle in all our various traditions, various religious customs, various sadhanas, bhakti, jnana. Thing is, you have to rise from the animalistic level, become little more refined, cultured, more selfless, more gentleman, man of values, cultivate your mind as a more purer. These are the common principles of various traditions. There they may be different levels of Pitraloka, Brahmaloka, Swargaloka, all this. But all of them, this commonly agreed that try to do something good, be good and be selfless, and these are the things. Control yourself, that is the control, the instincts and impulses. So that's why I say in the traditions there are different. Some advocate Swarga, some advocate some other loka, some advocate Pitraloka, some advocate still higher like Brahmaloka. But in all of them, this is the common thing. Because unless you refine, unless you purify, you can't deserve to go to the higher lokas. Each higher loka, definitely, even Manusha Loka itself is higher to the animal world. And Swarga, the higher lokas must be definitely better than a human world. Okay, therefore, we generally advocate a general universal teaching of religion is first follow the values. Try to be selfless. Be purer in your heart. So these are the basic principles. All the various traditions within Hinduism or Buddhism, Jainism, they are also part of Hinduism anyway. So all these various religious traditions or customs and values, they all talk of these common principles. Then at a later stage, they talk of their own, each tradition, each religious tradition, their own sadhana, talk of some special, deeper sadhana and more cultivate yourself. That is a different. But the common principles are acceptable to all. Okay, therefore we generally advise, take some tradition, follow some guru, some concept of God, but basically the concept of God is that he is a divine, he is a higher, he transcends the human weaknesses. That is a common thing. Animalistic nature, he transcends animalistic nature, he transcends even human nature. He may assume human form like in Avatara, but even in human form, he looks which is higher one. He looks more nobler, is a high quality person, virtuous person. Even if he assumes the human form, even in human he expresses his divine qualities. So human is a form, not a nature. When Avatara, Bhagavan, Ishvara comes into human form, he doesn't suffer all the human limitations. Human weaknesses of pettiness, smallness, ego, desire, frustration, anger, vengeance, these things he won't have. That's why this is the difference. In Hindu, we worship idols. We worship human forms, avatars, gurus, rishis, but they are in human form. They are in an animal form, something like Varaha avatara, like a pig and the fish and etc. They are animal form, human form, but the quality, but the inner depth, inner divinity is definitely higher. It is not a humanistic or animalistic. This is the difference our Shastras talk about. Okay, either the unable to know this, the Christians and Muslims, some of them either unable to know it, or they don't know, or they don't want to know, or they knowingly, intentionally, they want to criticize Hinduism. You worship stones, you worship animals, you worship human beings, you are not worshipping God. Yours is not a religion because you are not worshipping God. So they think transcending means he should not have the human form. See, then we have to criticize them. Criticism not because it is theirs. The concept we criticize not because it is theirs, not. When we criticize a particular idea, wherever it is, if it is there in Hinduism also equally applies our criticism. See, we are not criticism whose idea it is. The idea as an idea we criticize, whether it is in their religion or in our religion. Even among the Hindus, there may be a few people, fools, having such a animalistic idea of God. Definitely that is wrong. See, our criticism is of the idea, the concept of God, concept of religion, not which religion, which book, which prophet. You may have any prophet, you may have any book, you may have any concept. We are taking the concept as a concept, how far it is good, how far qualitatively it is right and great. Okay, we discuss this way, and this is how we have learned right from childhood, and we have been teaching. We learned the Shastras, and this is how we have been doing it. I think any right thinking person understands it this way. So whenever I criticize, you just, because when I'm addressing some of the Hindus also, so therefore I'm just telling so that they can relate to them, whose idea is it. There are many traditions, whose idea is it. So these are the religions have this kind of idea, at least partly this kind of idea. So I'm just referring the name. Not that we mean that we oppose them just because they belong to different religion. You may belong to any religion. We only talk about that quality of religion, that level of religion, whichever religion you follow. If it follows the deeper, a pure understanding, the real understanding of the truth, whichever name you give, whichever society you live, whichever language you follow, the truth is the same. Okay. Ultimately, it is the truth that counts, the quality of life that counts. Okay. So, when you go to the Brahmaloka, coming to this point, so the common principles of all religious life is that you take up any concept of God. He may be human form or he may be animal form. Your God may be in animal form, human form, or any natural form like the sun and the moon and the stars and the river. You may worship rivers, you may worship earth itself directly, you may worship the sun. So these are all the symbols. Some people don't want to call it symbol. It is not symbol. God has really descended. Okay, really descended. We don't mind. Either you take it as symbol or you take it as a really God has descended. Doesn't matter. See, we accommodate. We try to see the real concept behind it, the real idea behind it, how that idea is a noble idea, which can help you to purify your idea by identifying with it, by appreciating it, how you still become a better, more than the human limitations. You transcend the humanistic weaknesses, animalistic weaknesses. You become purer and expand your consciousness, purify your heart, and you rise above your limitations and become a divine being. This is what ultimately counts, whichever religion you follow, whichever name you take it. Okay. Therefore, even if you come up with a different concept of religion, different concept of God, different concept, we don't mind it. We only look at whether the concept is right according to our universal values, universal human nature. We only weigh it on the universal human values and universal human nature. From that angle alone, we weigh it, not because it is different from Hinduism. Let it be different from Hinduism. Just because it is different from religion, we don't call it bad. It may be different. It need not be exactly similar to Hinduism, but Hindu is not one fixed thing. We ourselves have got many varieties of them. Therefore, it can be similar to one of our traditions. It can be similar to one of our many branches, several branches. So, we say your very concept. You say our God doesn't allow the idol worship. Idol means symbolic worship. He doesn't allow using of any symbols, any representatives for God. We want true God, not representatives of God. That's one thing they say. Second thing they say, he doesn't assume human forms. It doesn't come down to in the form of water, rivers, sun and the moon and the earth and etc. He doesn't come down. No descending, no representatives. No descending, no representatives. That means for them, transcending limitations means no representation, no human. For them, the transcending means he should not have idols. Idols means some kind of representation, wooden symbol, plastic symbol, or even a stone symbol, stone form, any form. No, thing is, if he is free from a symbol, our God is superior, transcendent. Okay. He doesn't come down in human form, therefore he is transcendent. Only on this factor alone, only on this one factor, he doesn't have a representative symbol. He doesn't come down in a human form. That's all. Only on this count, only on this reason, our God is transcendent, they say. We say transcendent doesn't depend upon these things. Transcendence in terms of quality. Not transcendence doesn't mean he does. We say he may have a human form, still our God is transcendent. He may have a symbol like a stone symbol or idol and etc. Still he is a transcendent. Transcendent is in terms of his nature, his quality, not in form. Okay. They say it doesn't have the human form, it doesn't have an idol, therefore he is transcendent. And they criticize Hinduism. Hindus are worshipping stones. You are not worshipping God at all. God is always transcendent. God doesn't come down in human form, and it doesn't have symbols, worldly symbol. That's all. Only for this reason our God is superior. You may say anything. I tell you, when we accept, we have to evaluate it. You claim. We don't project you. We don't prevent you from claiming anything, but you allow us to evaluate. If you ask us to accept, if you impose your idea on us, then we have to evaluate. We have to evaluate. Without evaluating, we can't accept blindly just because you have got a sword with you or a money, or you have got international money power or government power, or you have got a street riots, that you can kill people and then do anything. So that is not religion, that is barbarism. If barbarism is a religion, then yours is the greatest religion. If barbarism is a religion, then you have got the greatest religion on the earth. If using sword is a religion, then yours is the greatest barbarism. Then it means greatest barbarism is greatest religion. That's what ultimately it means. The greatest barbarism is greatest religion. Greatest wickedness is greatest religion. Greatest evil is greatest religion. I think this is what ultimately we have to come. See, we are bold in thinking about religion and God and philosophy. We don't spare our gods also. I tell you, it is not that we criticize your God and our God and somebody's God. We don't spare anybody. We evaluate anything qualitatively. If the quality is really divine, wherever it is, we respect. Whether in your religion, my religion, if qualitatively good, we prostrate, we do namaskara to anything. If the qualitatively lacks, wherever it is, we reject. Bluntly, unhesitatingly, we reject. I think this is what we learned, we have been taught, and we share the same views with others. Okay. So God may have a human form. We may give a stone symbol. Idols means images. We may give image. A tree we may worship, a plant we may worship, a river, earth, or the sun. We may give the natural symbols. We may take the human symbol. We may make artificial. Artificial means we may make certain symbols. Just because you make symbol doesn't mean God doesn't exist. God exists everywhere. When He already exists in all over in the stones, He's already existing. Before you make an image of stone, He was already present. He was already present in the stone. Not only stone, in everything, in earth and the water and the river and plants and animals and human beings, in you, in me, in everywhere He is present. When He is present everywhere, if I take one human being as God, if I take as a symbol, as a gate, as an entry, if I use some image, what is wrong? He is already present there. Even before I make a symbol, He is already present. So because He is all pervasive. Okay. This is our Hindu thinking. If it appeals to you, you are welcome to take. If it doesn't appeal, okay, drop it. But don't quarrel with us, don't kill us. That's what we say. Killing is too inhuman. And that doesn't prove that your religion is great, or at least that doesn't even prove that you are a religious person. It proves you are a barbarian. That is evident. We don't have to prove. You are proving yourself. By using the sword, you are proving yourself. We are not proving. We don't have to prove anything. You are only without requiring any proof, more than our proof, you are confirming by your behavior. You means I'm talking only those people. You are using force, fraud, and trying to kill people, riots and etc., pelting with stones, using the sword and all kind of things. But we never thought religion could be understood, and that is the way of measuring a religion, evaluating a religion. How do you evaluate a religion, a God, a spirituality, a sadhana, or the goal, the moksha? How do you evaluate? Evaluate with a sword. Whosoever sword is sharper, their God is great. Okay, my stone is bigger stone. I can hit you with my stone. In one hit, I can kill you. Therefore, my God is superior. Because your stone is bigger. Your sword is sharper. You can kill two people in one hitting. One stroke, you will kill two people. Therefore, your God is superior. This kind of God, this kind of evaluation is useful for barbarism. You can say, who is a better barbarian? Use this word, this is better. Who is better barbarian? Who is greater barbarian? Who is more wicked? Who is better wicked, more wicked? This kind of evaluation suits. But when you are trying to understand spirituality, you use the spiritual qualities. Okay? If you want a divine, use the divine quality. Then what do you mean by divine quality? You mean more barbaric, more harsh, more cruel is divine? More cruel, God becomes more. If you mean your God is more cruel and your God is greater, that is ridiculous. That is an evaluating. What is a standard? Standard means the measuring standard, scale. The measuring scale is useful for barbarism. We call asura. That scale is useful to measure who is a better barbarian, who is a better asura, who is a greater rakshasa. That evaluation is okay. But we say divine qualities we see. He may assume human form. He may assume plant, animal, paper, book, anything. He may assume either it may be representative or he may descend. God may descend directly, descending into any human form. But he tentatively assumes out of love, out of compassion for his bhaktas, for his devotees. He may assume in a human form. It is like a great man. When you are playing with a baby, you talk like baby. You assume a human form. Supposing you behave like a dog and you bark like a dog. Babies enjoy it. See, you ask the baby, "Hey, come on, how does the dog walk?" It walks on its two hands and two legs, something like it imitates a dog, or it imitates a monkey. You dress up like a monkey and ask him, "Hey, how does the monkey go about?" Okay, you put a tail artificially and you make up you like a monkey and you just walk on your four legs and look like a monkey. People smile and laugh. So here it is. You may assume a monkey form, but inside you are a human being. Okay, you are a human being inside. You only externally make an appearance of a monkey, but inwardly you are a human. In a drama, when you are acting like a monkey, you act like a monkey, but inside you have got a human mind, human heart. Similarly, God may assume human form, but inside he has got a divine nature, divine quality, divine heart, divine vision, divine understanding. He never uses the inhuman or animalistic nature. The qualities, the nature is never animalistic, never human. It is beyond human. This is where we see God. God may assume human form. That's why form may be human, but all human are not same. Purushulandu Punya Purushulu Veraya. In Telugu we have a poem like this, a saint's poem. Among the human beings, some human are divine humans. Okay? He may be in human form, but he may be in animal form, but still is a beyond animal. So, transcending animality, to transcend animality, you need not give up the animal form. You may be in animal form, but still you can be divine. You may be in human form, still you can be divine. Because form, appearance doesn't prevent your divinity. Okay? It is the divine quality that counts. Divine vision, divine understanding. Okay? Divine quality, that is important. You may be in human form. You may be in animal form, plant form, or any natural forms. They can be appearances of God. Even if man makes an image, still God presents himself. See, man makes an image, but God presents, because God who is present all over, he is all pervasive. When you make a form, he makes a manifestation there, that's all. These people say, oh, it is all man-made form. How can it be God? Their logic is very strange logic, is a childish logic. See, they don't know or don't want to know, or they're stubborn that you must accept our meaning alone, our interpretation alone. They want to impose their interpretation, and we have no right to reject it. If you reject it, you are a heathen or infidel, and will torture you, kill you, and do all sorts of things. So we interpret, and that is final. That means the measuring, the evaluation. There is no evaluation, there is only imposition. Okay. Then what is the standard? What is the scale with which you are evaluating? The divine qualities are important. Form, anybody can assume a form. Form doesn't make you bad. Like a sugar. With a sugar candy, you make a cock. You make a dog. You make a donkey. You make a human form. You make a bird. See, with a sugar candy, you make a shape of a bird. When you put it in your mouth, are you eating a bird or are you eating sugar? With a sugar candy, you make a bird shape. Or you make a shape of an apple. A sugar candy in the shape of an apple. when you eat, are you eating apple or are you eating sugar? Form can be anything. We are only seeing the quality. That is divine. Therefore, God, assuming the human form, animal form, or plant, or any natural form, doesn't preclude its divinity, its transcendence. In spite of in human form, he transcends humanness. See, he transcends human limitations. In spite of in human form, he transcends human limitation. In spite of in animal form, he transcends animal nature, animalistic nature. In spite of appearing in a stone, in an idol, or in an image, he transcends the limitations of inert objects. This is our way of transcending. This is how we understand our transcending. And what we understand, we explain to you. Try, see. If it appeals to you, you can take. Even if you take a idol, what you call stone idol, even if you use stone idol, his transcendence will not be affected. He is present in an idol, still he remains transcendent. Okay? His transcendence doesn't suffer. He transcends the inert objects. He transcends the plants and insects. He transcends animals, transcends human. He transcends even angels. He is absolute Paramatma. In spite of assuming any form, he may assume a form of an angel. He may deity. He may assume a human form. He may assume an animal form. He may assume a plant. He may assume an inert object. But divinity remains. See, this is where we find it. In order to transcend, you don't have to give up worldly forms. Image. They think you remove the image, our God is transcendent. That's all. He may have any animalistic hatred, God's hatred, vengeful, barbaric, uses the sword, commits all kinds of atrocities. Still you say he's a transcendent God. This is strange. We can't understand it. After understanding, we think of appreciating it. First, we can't understand. We are unable to understand that. He is vengeful, very angry God. He divides people. He hates people. And you call him as a transcendent. Our Hindu God is only an animal form, only plant, monkeys you worship. You have no concept of God. You are so barbarians, primitive people. You have no concept of real greater concept of God. Our concept of God, you see, he transcends. All your transcend means only he doesn't have animal form, human form. That's all. Or he doesn't have a what you call an image. All your transcendent means only he doesn't have a form. But quality-wise is worse than human being, I tell you. Their concept of God enjoys all animalistic nature, all human weaknesses, all human limitations of ego, frustration, anger, kama, krodha, lobha, moha. We have got Arishadvarga, 6 enemies, spiritual enemies. Kama, lust, krodha, anger, lobha, greed, kama, krodha, lobha, mada, arrogance, kama, krodha, lobha, mada, matsarya, jealousy, kama, krodha, lobha, moha. Moha means delusion, incapable of understanding, confused fellow. He cannot distinguish the right and wrong between. Bhakta says, even if he is worshipping in an image, Bhakta thinks of God alone. God says, no, you are not worshipping me. You are worshipping only stone. I won't accept. Bhakta says, oh God, I am worshipping you only because you alone exist all over the world. So any form is your form alone. So I think that you have descended. You are present in this form and I worship you. God says, you are not worshipping me. I'll send you to hell. Bhakta has got a better viveka, better understanding. Bhakta says, time is up and I'll finish in 1 or 2 minutes. Bhakta says, even in this animal form, human form, plant or a stone, I am worshipping you. This Bhakta has got a better viveka. Viveka means a distinct understanding, a clear understanding. And their God lacks this understanding. He's a confused fellow. And he doesn't see the feeling of feeling in his heart. And he says, no, you are not worshipping me. You are worshipping stone alone. You are worshipping non-God. I'll reject your worship. I'll send you to hell. This is where we call it moha. Moha means lack of clear thinking. So their God seems to have all the 6 devilish qualities. What are they? One is kama, lust. Another is krodha. Krodha includes hatred, anger and hatred, vengeance. Anger, hatred, vengeance. Lobha, greed. He has got lot of greed. Moha, clarity of thinking, lack of clear vision and understanding. He's a confused fellow. Even sometimes human beings are better. In sometimes, I'm not telling all human beings are good. Some human beings sometimes are better. This God's understanding is worse than human beings. Okay. And mada is arrogance. It doesn't look like humble at all. The God is always arrogant, makes tall claims, superior claims. And if a human being says, I am an atheist, God becomes terribly angry. If a poor human being incapable of understanding, he says he becomes an atheist. He doesn't believe in God. God gets angry and he will torture him. Oh my God. Human beings are like babies, like children. They don't understand. Teach them. Why do you torture them? See, it tortures them. My God. So vengeance, terrible arrogance, and jealousy also, terrible jealousy. So you don't see. In these qualities, I tell you, for us, evaluating God is through these qualities. God should transcend all human weaknesses. He may be in human form, but transcends. We understand the transcendence in this sense. Their concept of transcendence is not in a human form, not in an animal, not in an idol. That's all. He may have all animalistic qualities, all demoniac qualities. Still he is transcendent. I'm sorry, we are unable to understand your transcendence. Your transcendent looks very cheap. Okay. You evaluate for yourself. What I told you today, in today's talk, you think over yourself. Without prejudice, of course. If you leave the prejudice, you can understand better. Otherwise, if you are a biased person, you can't understand. Today I started late. I had little ill health problem. Okay, I have a little bit of these things. I may start a little late, but at least I thought that at least half an hour I would speak. So I've taken 5 more minutes. Okay, so tomorrow, next class, we will discuss. So this point you see, the Brahma Nirvanam, the Rishi, these points I am discussing. I think some of these points are required. Okay, because there are some good Vedantins I can teach directly Vedanta, but these are certain other things also. Certain other people need it. All these ideas are derived from the basic vision of Vedanta. From the absolute truth, we derive all other ideas of religion, concept, prayers, meditation, understanding God, and all this are derived from the absolute truth of Vedanta. They don't go against Vedanta. That's important. Here you see these religions go against the absolute truth of Vedanta. They look too childish. Therefore, so Brahma Nirvanam, so Brahma Nirvanam, Moksha. So they have their various concepts of moksha. I've started. So in this process, we are discussing other things. So I shall continue in the next class. Various moksha. One is their monotheistic religion, Abrahamic religions, concept of heaven. Then Hindu concept of heaven. Then Vaikuntha. Then talk of Brahma. In all these various concepts of Brahma, what is it the Jiva transcends? What is it Jiva transcends? That is called Nirvana. Nirvana means you give up, you melt away, you dissolve and rise to the higher level. Sadhaka. Sadhaka rises to the higher level, gives up. He transcends. What does he give up? So depending upon the degree of giving up your lower nature, you rise, become a spiritual man and you this thing. So in absolute moksha, you give up totally all lower nature you become one with very Paramatma. Okay, so in Brahmaloka or Vaikuntha, what is it you give up? What is it you transcend? Then what is ultimately in Vedanta? These different levels of moksha, different concept of moksha we are discussing. Okay, this point will continue. Little I'll deviated here. Okay, the very form, the transcendence of God was not directly related topic, but the jiva sadhaka transcending and reaching moksha. Sadhaka transcends and reaches moksha. So what is it he transcends? In different concept of heaven, different concept of liberation or salvation or moksha, whatever you call. So what is it you transcend? This is there different levels of transcending. We'll continue this in the next class. Okay, sorry, I took 10 minutes. Okay, Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Guru Bhyo Namah. Hari Om Tat Sat.